Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Keep the Passion podcast, where we talk about staying motivated and passionate in all seasons of life, especially in your 20s, as we are both in our 20s and, it's been a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So today we want to talk about trusting the process and having faith. And as you can see, we have a little quote going across the bottom of the screen, and that is, faith is taking the first step when you can't see the whole staircase. And I feel like in our 20s, like, it's just so important to trust the process and have faith and that things are going to work out for the good. Yeah. Right. So first, I want to talk about, what trusting the process is to us, because you hear that a lot, I feel like, nowadays, mm-hmm. right? On social media or just on whatever kind of media that you're consuming is trust the process, and it can
what does that mean, or what does it actually look like to trust the process?
What does it look like in action?
You're just telling me to trust the process, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So for me, trust the process is basically kind of knowing that no matter what's happening or what the circumstances are currently, that, God or creator or whoever you believe in is working things out behind the curtains for you, right? And that it just hasn't been revealed to you yet. Like, that's kind of what it means to me. It's trusting that things are working out even if you don't see them at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. I would say that's. I don't know. I guess I would agree with that definition. I think my definition is more. I don't know if we're going to talk about this in like the action. Trust the process, what that means, like how to actually trust the process with your actions. I feel like I define it that way, but also I think about like what that means in action, which is just like one step after another, like, and just like continuing to keep going even though you don't know. Like I feel like there's a lot of times where we feel like lost, or like I can think of from myself, like where I don't know, like I just feel like, what am I doing? Like, is this the right thing to do? Like I just don't know. It's like I have this angle in mind, but I don't know how to get there. And I feel like for me, trusting the process is just like Kobe said, everything is working out for our good. So like just continuing to take the next steps, even if you're not sure about it and it sounds kind of like, weird. It's just like, doesn't sound like something that's going to actually really help, or like, I don't know.
Just taking the next best step.
Yeah, just taking the next best step towards the goal, I guess.
Yeah. And we've had to do that a whole lot, definitely.
Yeah.
Like in our experience with KK Cheesecakes, for example, like that quote at the bottom is just, it's everything. Like it's taking a step even when you don't know exactly where it's leading to, where like the final destination is. You have your vision and everything, you know what the goal is, but you don't know exactly, where that step is going to take you to.
You don't know what, yeah. And that's like also has to do with like, letting go of the how of things. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's kind of trusting the process. It's just letting go of the how and just doing and just continuing to do. And
yeah. All right. Any examples? Any life examples? Like I was saying with KK Cheesecakes, it's been a whole like, this is our first business, right? KK Cheesecakes is our first like business, and we have a storefront that we want to open up. Mm-hmm. And a whole plan for where we want the brand to go. But, with that being said, like it's our first business and we don't exactly know how everything works out. So we have had to like, just kind of trust that we're learning something. At least if we get something wrong, we're learning something from it. Mm-hmm. And we know that, what the next step is that we need to take. Yeah. So like, I can give more specific examples, but generally with this business, it's been just like, okay, let's take the next step that we know and see where we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's been like the entire journey of KK Cheesecakes. It's just or at least not the entire journey. I feel like I feel like it started really when we like, I guess when we moved out here, like we really started doing it, and especially when we bought this property.
Mm-hmm.
That's the that's like when the trust in the process has really kicked in. And I feel like for myself personally, like it's been really hard to just trust the process. You know, like I feel like I just complained about a lot of stuff in the past, and like, you know what I'm saying. And I feel like now I'm just like,
you know,
whatever.
What
like, you know, I'm like, I just tell myself we're exactly where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like with everything that's going around here, that's going around like, or no, with everything that's going on like around here, like in the square where our storefront's gonna be, like, I feel like we're gonna open up right at a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like
we have faith. That's having faith.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. Because like they're redoing the area where our storefront's going to be pretty much, and it seems like it's going to open up right around, hopefully, right around when we are going to open up, or we're going to open up very shortly after. And some of the things that they're doing, I feel like is going to really benefit us. Mm-hmm. So I feel like now with it, I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. No, we're not open yet. Like, no, we don't have this yet, but it's going to work out because we're still taking those little steps. Yeah. And I feel just like, I don't know. I think just this year I learned to trust the process more.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not even with KK, but just with life.
Yeah.
I feel like
I've been trying to, like, you know, be grateful and just be like, you know what? Like, I'm learning things, and yeah, I'm trusting that I know everything is going to work out.
Yeah, things are going to work out.
It is, you know.
Soon.
Yeah, I always add the soon part at the end.
Yeah, because like, I don't know how to describe it. I've just been trying to tell myself I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and then just try to see the light, see the positive, and focus on those things. And like you said, practice gratitude for where I am now, because we're, you know, I'm further than what I was last year. And I think that's, I don't know, for me, that makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, to me, also trusting the process means like not having regrets, because you know that everything is happening for a reason.
And that's a hard one, I think.
Well, okay, and I want to explain, because I don't like when people say, oh, I don't like when people say just like everything happens for a reason, you know, it's God's timing, or
oh my God.
I want to clarify, because when I say like everything is happening for a reason, I'm saying because you're learning something.
Yeah.
That's going to put you somewhere else, and the clarity comes in the works. It does not come by just sitting there and wondering and, you know, thinking about how to do something, or, you know, strategizing. I mean, it comes in that stuff too, but it really comes in like doing stuff. So that's why I say, like, you know, I try not to like have regrets about certain things, because, you know, got something out of it, and now I'm better because of it, you know. That's also what it means to me.
Yeah. And then, I mean, just like the lessons that we learn from things, like I feel like it's like you need those lessons to elevate to the next level of life, or like, there's certain things, like there's certain opportunities I feel like that are going to present themselves, and like if you didn't have that lesson, or like you didn't build that character in the past due to something, then you're not going to be able to take full advantage of that thing that presents itself in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
that's true.
It's important to just trust it, even it's working out for your good. Like even if shit is going crazy, you know, the lessons that you're getting from it, the character that you're building during that process, and the growth that you're achieving through that process it's going to help you in the future. And I feel like that's what trust in the process is. It's knowing that I'm going to be able to, like, this is helping me.
Yeah.
Like my future self is looking back like, oh, I'm glad I went through that, because look at me now.
The things that happen in the process are like things that people can't take away from you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like it's the personal development, it's the growth, the mindset, the challenges, the habits that you form. Those are all things that like can't be taken away ever. You know, they're not like physical things that's like, oh, you know, I finally got a new car, and you know, you know, like the trust.
Those things are great too, but
they are. But like you said, like all those things that can't be taken away when you're going through something is like things that are going to prepare you for that time in your life. When you got it,
they're going to allow you to elevate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, through difficult times, of the process, because the process isn't always this hard, horrible thing, but through difficult times and tough times in the process, how do you stay confident and faithful and proud of yourself also?
Okay, I'm gonna say this doesn't sound like something that works, but I'm gonna say allowing yourself to have meltdowns.
Okay.
And I say that, I know that sounds weird.
What does a meltdown look like exactly? Clarify.
Okay, so for me, a meltdown looks like having to cry it out or something, or like, I don't know, like, let me see what happens if I have a meltdown. I don't know. I feel like I get like really like not depressed, but like in a depressed state for like at least a few days, and I end up I have to cry it out. I cry at night or whatever, something, whatever. Or I go to my husband, I tell him I'm upset or something, and then talk about it and cry it out.
Okay.
I think allowing yourself to embrace the meltdowns helps, only because I feel like when you come out of it, you have a little bit more clarity, but also you've gotten that feeling out, because like I think a lot of times we try to just hold stuff in. Like I'm guilty of this, just like knowing I'm on the verge of a meltdown and like not acknowledging my feelings, not acknowledging like where this is coming from. I think when you're trying to hold it in, then like, I don't know. I think you're like harboring those feelings and holding on to them more. And then when you finally let it go and release it, then it's released. It's out into the universe and it's gone.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it better.
No, I know what you're saying. Because if you don't like address those feelings, then they're there and they're distracting you.
Yeah.
Like you could just be driving and you're, instead of thinking about driving or where you're going to go or what you're going to do when you get there, you're thinking about your negative thoughts. Whereas if you just like, let yourself take some time. I heard on a podcast episode once, like she'll schedule it. Like if she has this negative emotion about something, she'll like schedule it. Like, okay, we're going to do it this other time.
Yeah. I like that.
So just like take some time and really like feel those emotions, whatever that looks like for you, and get through it. And then the next day you're going to be like, why was I upset? Why was I so upset about this? So yeah.
I feel like that. I don't know. I feel like that's like a little part of it. What's the question? It was like, how do you stay confident?
It was through difficult times of the process. How do you stay confident?
Yes.
How do you stay, faithful, and how do you stay proud of yourself? Which is important.
So so releasing those feelings is number one, I would say. Because once you get into that cycle, like of just negative thoughts about whatever, it stays. You got to release it. It has to. You got to get out the cycle at some point. So I would say that's number one.
Okay.
And then, let's see. Do you have anything?
I would say
stay confident and stay proud. How do you stay confident and stay proud?
Yeah, I should have thought. I wrote the question. I should have thought about it more. But I would say, I don't know I don't know actually. I don't know.
I think focusing on the positive.
Yeah, focus on the positive. Like I'm always trying to remind myself, like, what I have and what I have accomplished. Like a lot of the times I feel like I haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just gonna be real and honest. It's hard for me to feel proud of myself most times because I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. So that's why I wrote this question. It was a challenge for myself. Yeah, most of the time it's hard for me to feel proud of myself because I feel like that comes from like a sense of accomplishment. Like for me, it does. It comes from like feeling like you've done something worthwhile and valuable. You know what I mean? And obviously, like the main things that we've been working on is KK cheesecakes. That I've been working on is KK cheesecakes and stick marketing. And like my kind of pride comes from is directly related to the success of those things. So like I even like wrote in my journal the other day, like, you know, in my like prayer to God or whatever, like help me feel proud of myself for like, even though I haven't seen results from these things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
How do I stay proud of myself through the difficulties? Like, again, I think just reminding yourself of like the good things.
Yes, and then
that you have around you.
I think with the confidence thing, I mean,
that's easier.
Yeah, confidence comes in doing.
Yeah,
like I feel like, you know, like if you just I don't know what I'm saying here for 2 minutes. If you just stop doing stuff because you don't feel confident, like it's not gonna help you with confidence. You're like literally doing the exact opposite of what you need to do. Like you have to keep doing to build that confidence. And then also learning how to, and this is something that I got from one of the books that I read. Like learning to be more productive over just being busy for me has helped me, because it's helped me feel more accomplished and proud of myself, because I have like what I do now is I have like 3 different things on my to-do list for the whole day, which sounds kind of crazy, like only 3 things, you know. But well, actually, I don't know. I wonder if that's just me that thinks like that, because I tend to feel like I'm never doing enough. But what I've done lately, this also kind of counteracts that feeling of me never doing enough, because that's one of the reasons why in the past I haven't felt proud of myself, because I'm like, I'm not doing enough. Like I didn't get anything done today.
Yeah.
What I try to do is have 3 things that are like of like utmost priority, and like the most important thing, the thing that's going to move me forward, is have those 3 things and accomplish those 3 things for the day. And then I feel proud. Or like, even just little things, you know, like, okay, if you say that you want to work out like 3 days this week, and then you finish it and you're like, oh, I feel proud of myself. Let me see. I'm trying to give like more examples like from myself. You know what? Hold on. Guys, I'm gonna bring out my little thing. Hold on one sec, because this is my journal that I write some of my stuff in for what I feel proud for and things like that. So let me see. Let's get specific here. Okay, yes. So it's little things. So, you know, we have our little goals, right? So for this day, I have written sticking to my schedule for the 3rd day. And this is when I first started the 3 things before 11 a.m. And I had stuck to it for the 3rd day. And that was a big deal for me in the beginning, only because like I would get so overwhelmed with the super long to-do list that I would not do anything. Yeah. So this helped me. And then completing my chapter work when I was doing my diet to lifestyle. And then for this day, I have finishing my CNC, establishing a productivity method that works, because to-do lists do not work for me on their own. Let me see. Oh yes, I have like finishing my part on like something important that I've been sitting here holding off on for like the last few months or something, like, you know, like just little things like that. If I like completed something finally that I've been holding off on, like that makes me proud of myself. It's just like, it's little things. You got to hold on to the little things. I think that helps a lot. And then I feel like those little things also help build confidence, because you're like, I don't know, you're just continuing to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, what processes have you gone through where you had to have faith and trust that everything should turn out as it should? Everything would turn out as it should. So,
what did you say? Say that again.
What processes have you gone through where you had to have faith and trust that everything will turn out as it should?
Everything. Okay, for number examples. Number 1, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go way back, college. I'm gonna go way back before we even got to UM. Having to figure out how to pay for it, because for those who don't know, when you especially, I don't know if it works the same for community colleges, probably does, but there's enrollment fees. Like when you get accepted, you have to pay. Is that the enrollment fee? That first thing that you have to pay, like in March or something like that?
I'm not.
Okay, you have to pay something. It was like $500, and then before you actually get to go to the campus, you have to make sure that you like. It's a bunch of money that you gotta pay. And I remember,
tuition.
Yeah, no, it's tuition, but like, I mean, just like, no, it's. I think it's the enrollment fees too. That's like
even before that, application fees.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I feel like just the whole process of trying to get into for one, because I kind of messed up in high school and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it into for one. But continuing on and being like, okay, I messed up this semester, but let's push on, and keep going because I still have a chance. And then also just like being able to pay all that stuff, like trying to find a way to pay all that money to be able to then attend. I feel like that was like a trusting the process because I don't know. I remember like our mom had to like, she was calling around trying to get money from people, and I remember like one of our uncles on our dad's side gave some money so that we could be able to go. Like it really took like it's kind of like a family effort to get to I feel like you could throw it all the way back to that. That was like one of the first things of as an adult of trusting the process. Like, okay, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. Like,
yeah. I would say in college, like,
yeah,
like, okay, I try not to think of my college years as a waste, right?
Yeah, no.
Well, but it feels like that sometimes because it really is like, where did that like that it didn't help me. Like it didn't. I feel like college did not push me forward the way that it's like kind of promised to you. So that's why sometimes I think of it as like, I had all that time, like 4.5 years in college, in my early 20s, like for what? But so with that, it's like, I think that whole process is just like, you have to trust that you're like, you're doing the right thing. Yeah. I think I think that all throughout my time at I was always like questioning my major, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, what should I do? Mm-hmm. So I think that I had to like, at some point, like trust that everything was going to come out right. And I think at the time I was just going, just kind of moving forward and not like trying not to like, I guess, I mean, I had no choice, but to move forward.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I think at the time, like I wasn't really like, trusting that I was doing the right thing. But now I look back and I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like I got something out of it. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see that.
That goes back to like me saying like, not having regrets because something came out of it, that's part of it.
I can see that, especially because, I remember like one of the girls I went to high school with, she ended up becoming a nurse. And like, you're still in college and this person's out of school by this point and they're making money. Like,
yes,
it's like should I have taken another route?
Even now, it's like, you ask them like,
yeah, like people now didn't go to like a 4-year university, like doing like better off or something, exactly. Better off. And it makes you question it. But I also think that here's the problem with questioning yourself. This is why you really should just trust where you're at. Is because even like in college, like, can you imagine if you just trusted where your path instead of like I feel like it might have helped. You might have gotten more out of the experience. You know what I'm saying? And even just with like, I don't know. Yeah. With like where you currently are, wherever anyone currently is in life, like
trusting your decision.
Yeah, just trusting your decision
and going all in that at the moment. Exactly. And knowing that you can change it if you need to.
Yes, exactly. Because I feel like if you keep questioning it, you're not really going all in on it. Like even if you think that you are, mentally you're really not going in on it. Like there's so much more that you could be doing that you're not even thinking about because you're sitting here just questioning yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, I would say I still kind of question myself sometimes.
No, I do too.
Especially when you think about, when you do see other people. We have a friend, and he travels so much. You know what I'm talking about.
Who?
Kevin.
Oh yes.
So he travels. So he's been our friend like since high school. No, since middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
You travel so much, and it's just like,
you're just looking like,
am I taking like the wrong route? You know what I mean? Like someone who's like a similar age as me is out here like traveling around, like you know, doing what you would ideally want to be doing. But like, at least for me, like that's my dream. I want to go travel. Yeah. I want to kind of have my freedom of time, and freedom of, you know, financially. And, you know, it's kind of like I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, the thing is like, that's also like, I try to trust the vision I have. Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to build something in my 20s. So that in my 30s, like I can do those things. I'm trying to build something bigger that I can, you know, that's going to set me up.
Exactly.
Whereas this person, yeah. And listen, I'm not trying to, I'm not hating on the 9 to 5.
We also don't know what he has going on, you know, like he might travel a lot, but some people will travel a lot, but they might be putting themselves
but also
in a hole or something, you know, so you never know like what they're doing.
But that's what I think, like, it's like, would it be easier just to get a job, like a 9 to 5 job, and not like try to build something, you know? So even with that, I kind of like question myself, but I'm like, no, I'm trying to actually build something that is going to set me up, you know, for life, you know, potentially. You never know. So
that's what I think about. I think about like how I want my 30s to be.
Yeah.
When I when I start having those thoughts, like, oh, look at such and such, you know, like I start thinking about, okay, there's a reason why we're doing what we're doing now. Like, and I start just imagining like how I want my 30s to be, which is like, which is like just being free, being like having, you know, time freedom, financial freedom, and unrestricted mobility. That's something I want for my 30s. And so, like I'm willing to be like, you know, let's not, but here's the thing, we do travel.
We do. However, I have not traveled yet and paid for everything myself.
Yeah, me neither.
And that also makes me not like proud at all. Because it takes away some of that satisfaction. Like, I did this. Mm-hmm. Like it's really important to me.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I want to like have my birthday vacation this year. If you guys don't know, I want to go to Cabo for my birthday this year. I'm trying to go to the Marquee, okay? And that for me is going to be like my reward for working hard on building that lifestyle. And fingers crossed we can go, because me and Brandon talked about it, and I don't know if we're going to be able to go. But that's like what I want to be able to do. And that would make me very proud if I was able to be like, to make enough money to pay for that trip myself. I just like thinking, just keeping your vision in mind and remembering, like, especially when you're in your 20s, okay, imagine how you want to live when you're 30. Imagine your life like when you're 30 and where you want to be. Yeah. Like, instead of comparing yourself, like, just remember your why. I think that's the most important part. Just remembering why you're hustling the way that you are now.
Okay.
Even though you see all your friends around you having all this fun, doing all this stuff, they're traveling all over the place, like, you remember why you're doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. A piece of advice for trusting the, like how should someone go about trusting the process? Like, what's the advice exactly?
Any advice?
Okay, I think that when you are at a point where you feel stuck, or like those moments where you feel so unsure of yourself, like, I can say, like, you guys, I don't know if you guys have heard me say this on the podcast before, that I'm traumatized by our experience with KK cheesecakes. Mm-hmm. But going into this thing with Diet to Lifestyle has been like super scary. And there's been so many times where I felt so unsure of myself, because I'm scared that I'm just afraid of making mistakes, because I feel like we made a lot of mistakes with KK cheesecakes. And I think at the moments with Diet to Lifestyle where I felt like super unsure of myself, and I'm just like, I really don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, that, I feel like, is when it's most important to take the next step. Is just like doing it when it's hard, I think is probably the not like when you're on a verge of meltdown hard, but like when it's hard and you're feeling so unsure of yourself, I think that that's important to keep going at that point. Like for example, okay, with Diet to Lifestyle, I emailed a bunch of gyms and like clinics or whatever, and like to go and like I didn't even know what the next step was after that. I was just like, I need to reach out to all these places. I just formulated an email and sent off all these emails to like 30 different places. And I had no idea what the next step was. I was like, so I was emailing them to set up meetings, and I was like, I don't even know what is going, like, I don't even know like what I'm going to say in these meetings. I don't know what the goal of these meetings are, but I'm going to figure it out. Like when I set up this meeting, like I'm going to figure out exactly what I'm trying to get out of this and exactly what what I want to say. I think it's important to just keep going. Like, I don't, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like even when you're so unsure, like just take that next step. And because every step of the way, you're going to figure it out. Like, because you have to. Really, especially like as an entrepreneur, you're gonna figure it out. Like, and sure, you might make a mistake or something, but the mistakes are lessons. So take it and just keep running with it. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's my.
Yeah, I mean, our whole life is learning.
Yeah,
like, literally, you're living your life for the first time. So like, your whole life is learning. So yeah, you have to keep going.
Yeah,
because you're gonna learn something every step of the way.
Even if you're in like the corporate world, like. Or like, let's say you're like considering a career change or something like that. Whatever it is, like, just trust the process and trust that everything's working out for your good. Like, there was something I posted recently on my story, and the guy was saying like, like I think he was like changing careers or something like that, and he was like, that like he had to take a step back and like take a job that didn't pay as well or whatever it was, but like. That him taking that job set him up for the dream job that he wanted because it just had, it was a little more nuanced towards what he really wanted to be doing, even though he had to take a pay cut or, it was like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but it set him up for the next thing, which was his dream job. So, yeah, just trusting that even if you're having to take a step back or you feel like you're kind of like losing out at the moment, trusting that whatever you're doing is working out for your own good in the future. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's my tip. Okay. That's my advice. Yeah, and I'll have to find that video and we'll go on and share it on our Instagram story because it was a really good one.
Okay. Let's see. My tip to the younger 20-year-olds would be if you find yourself like struggling to have confidence in yourself because you're seeing everyone else doing stuff, take a break from social media. Mm-hmm. Take a break from like if you have, if
you gotta block those people.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say friends or whatever. Take a break from them. Just like just take a whole break. Okay. Just don't watch people on their socials and don't like, look at your friend's Snapchat to see what kind of stuff they're doing, just do you. Just like focus on yourself. Like that is so important. It's just focusing on you is so important. Like I'm finding that more and more. Mm-hmm. As I continue like listening to things and reading things.
Yeah.
Like focusing on you is all you need to do to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, because I feel like go on.
Nothing. Just like you said earlier. Like imagine if like in college you weren't questioning yourself. All the things that you could have done more of. Like that's it. Just like focus on yourself. Don't compare. Don't think of what if. If you made a decision, like stick with it for a second and put your all into that decision. And like things aren't permanent. You can always change. You can always decide on a different career path or a different major in college or a different whatever that choice is. We have choices. You don't have to stick with stuff. So
yeah. And then when you focus, I feel like when you focus on building and growing yourself, like I don't know, like you're being presented to the world differently. So like the people that you end up meeting, like I feel like you're interacting with them differently. And like I feel like you end up attracting more of what you're looking for by doing that, because you're putting that out into your space,
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Like you're putting that energy out into the world. You're attracting those kinds of people that are gonna help you get where you want to be, because you're like a confident, radiant person, instead of like someone that's just like, oh, talking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like someone that keeps their head down and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to attract the right people with that energy. So yeah, focus on you, focus on growing you, and focus on the energy that you're putting out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely helps.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
About trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, that is it for today. If you guys enjoyed this episode, or you found it relatable, then go ahead and comment. That really helps with our our ratings. It helps to just get us more out there, so that our podcast can be recommended to more people. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna wrap this up. Make sure you guys stay passionate, purposeful, and prosperous. I botched that.
Make sure you guys stay prosperous. Stay, Jesus Christ.
We need to write it on the wall.
Okay, guys, we're gonna end this out. Okay, have a great week. Stay prosperous, stay purposeful, and most importantly, stay passionate. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes.